Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, nope, we're not ready, are we?
Nope.
Okay. Now we're ready. All right. Good evening, everybody. Y'all probably heard that, but didn't see it.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for coming. We got Misty Carter here with Misty Carter Insurance, and we're going to let her tell you a little bit about herself, how she got started, how long she's been doing it, and all that good jazz. And then we'll start hitting her with some questions. How about that?
Hello, everybody. My name is Misty Carter. I have been in the insurance business since 2018. I have worked for a couple of agencies, but as of July, I'm now working on my own. So excited about that. And tonight I'm going to start out talking about Medicare, and then we'll talk about the under 65 insurance, health insurance. So right now is the open enrollment for prescription drug plans. If you are on Medicare and you have a prescription drug plan, I do suggest that you have someone check that for you. You can do that with an agent like myself. You can have that done through your pharmacy. You can go to medicare.gov and do your own search. But by doing that, it keeps you, it gives you options of different drug plans, and it will show you which ones will save you the most money. And it will also let you know if your pharmacy is still in network with those drug companies. Those plans change a lot year to year. So I do suggest that everyone do get those checked and make sure that you're still on the best plan. Year to year, they change drastically. Next year, there are big changes coming for the prescription drug plan. In the past, if you spent up to, I think it was $5,900, then you would go into what they would call a catastrophic hole, or the donut hole, where you started having to pay big bucks for your drugs. But all of that is going away next year. Next year, you can contact your drug company that you enroll with. If you have a very expensive medication list, then you can reach out to your drug company. They can enroll you in the new program where they can average that out. Instead of you having to meet your deductible in January of $592, you can, plus your drug cost, they can average that out over the next 12 months for you and lower that cost. So when you do go pick up your prescription at the pharmacy, you're not having to pay the pharmacy, you're paying your drug company.
So when you say check your drug plan to see, would that be, would they have to call, when you say I guess provider, would that be like Cornerstone, or where your actual pharmacy that you use, is that where you're?
Generally, most any pharmacy can check those plans for you, like I said, or your agent, like myself. We can check those drug plans to make sure that you're still on the best plan.
But you, the agent can help with that as well.
That.
Okay.
Yes. I can check that for you. I use the Medicare.gov website, so everything comes from Medicare itself. All the information does. That's the platform that we use. And then based off of that information, I can enroll you into the plan.
I know. Sorry, go ahead.
So is it like what are the steps to, is it an application? Is it something like, I don't want to say apply for, but is it, I don't know how any of it works,
Okay.
to be honest.
So when you do not have to apply for it. I mean, you do, but you're not being approved. When you turn 65 and you go on Medicare, you have, you're given the red, white, and blue Medicare card. Mm-hmm. That is the government paying your insurance or your coverage. At that point, they say you have to have a drug plan because they don't cover your medication. So they require you to get a drug plan. Most people they don't know that. When you turn 65, you have to take out a Medicare drug plan of some sort. If you do not, let's say that you're on no medications and you say, well, I'm not taking out a drug plan. Then in 5 years or 2 years or a year, you come back and you say, well, I got medicines now, I need a drug plan. What happens is Medicare goes back, and all those months that you did not carry the drug plan when you turn 65, they calculate a national average based on premiums at that time, and they calculate you a penalty, and that penalty is added on to your monthly premium of your drug plan for the rest of your life. So when people are turning 65, it is very, very, very important that they get a drug plan. Now, as now you're already on Medicare past 65 and you're checking your drug plan every year. When you do that, you just have to apply. You don't have to go through an approval process. And once you put in your new application for the new drug plan, all that gets submitted to Medicare. They disenroll you out of the old plan and put you into the new one.
And that has to be done annually.
And that is done annually, and that is done from October 15th to December 7th. That is the only time frame you have to change your drug plan.
Wow.
Yes. And also during that time frame, people think that they have to change their Medicare supplement. So along with your Medicare, your red, white, and blue card, and your prescription drug plan, you can get yourself a Medicare supplement. You pay a fee, a monthly fee for this plan. Depending on the plan, it pays whatever Medicare doesn't pay. With that, most people think that they have to change their Medicare supplement during this time frame too, but they do not. You can change your Medicare supplement anytime during the year.
And that's like a secondary.
That is your
backup.
secondary backup, yes, to the Medicare.
And you don't have to wait for open enrollment or anything like that
You
to
do not. If
change
you
it.
want to change your Medicare supplement, then at that time what happens is you have to go through what they call underwriting. So when you turn 65, you're a guarantee issue to any plan you want, any company you want, whatever. But anytime after that, when you change that Medicare supplement, you have to go through the underwriting where they look at your health history, they look at your medication. Some go back 2 years, some will go back 7 years, some will go back 10 years. And they'll look and then they'll determine whether you're healthy enough for them to take you. Because if you have a long list of health issues, they won't take you. They don't want to be paying out if they don't have to.
Which I totally understand. I mean, that,
Yes.
but when you think about insurance is so crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand. But isn't all of it kind of government run at this point?
Yeah. Basically, most of it. I mean, to some point, they're going to have control over, they regulate it. It's their guidelines of it that we all have to apply, comply by.
So
I think most people do find insurance kind of intimidating just because they don't understand so much about it. And it can be complicated, but.
I mean, it kind of gets scary when it's government run and it says it's for everybody and it convinces people to get on board with this government run healthcare. But then the fine print says, and oh, by the way, if you have a history where.
Yeah.
Wasn't that part of what we were trying to, they were trying to get rid of, or preaching they were getting rid of?
Well, see, like, that's part of this new prescription drug plan change for next year. What they're trying to do is they're trying to regulate and make the insurance company more accountable to pay out more and to save the client themselves from having to pay out so much money. And so that's why they're making these changes. They're trying to make them more accountable. But most of these drug plans, they have their own pharmacies, so they'll provide you their medications. A lot of them will offer you mail order free or very low, a much lower discounted rate than if you got it somewhere local.
Well, that's not good for local business
No, it's
at
not.
all.
No.
So
I have a question, but it's not a Medicaid or Medicare,
Okay.
but it's an insurance question. And I'm going to use us as an example because, well, it pertains to us. Okay, so we have insurance. We have health insurance. Before we got health insurance, we were paying out of pocket. So we have a history we have our medical file or whatever. Is it beneficial? Trying to figure out how to ask the question. To go ahead and use our insurance and stop paying out of pocket so it builds up the medical history via insurance, or does that matter?
And the reason she's asking that question is because I'm kind of particular when it comes to this. I kind of look at it like my vehicle insurance. I'm not going to do my oil change on insurance because that's just a waste of somebody else's money.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to the doctor for a checkup,
I just pay for it out of
I just pay out of pocket. Why put that on insurance and burden my fellow people with, because I can pay 25, 50, 100 bucks at the window, and nobody else has to pay anything, or I can put it on insurance and, well, everybody feels it.
Yeah.
And I just,
So if you are using your insurance and everything that you're paying out when you do go, that goes towards your deductible, number one. And number two, it also goes towards your maximum out of pocket. We should have saved this and got into it on the other subject.
oh, okay. Well,
But that's okay.
that's a,
But it's okay. But everything that you spend goes towards your maximum out of pocket. So let's say your maximum out of pocket on your policy is $5,900, you know. And what that means is your maximum out of pocket is the amount that you pay up to. And if you happen to meet that for some reason, then you're capped out for the year and your insurance has to pay 100% everything past that.
and so, I mean,
So let's say something catastrophic happened. You had a car accident, you know, and you're racking up hundreds of thousands of dollars of bills, and you've been paying out of pocket, you know, for other stuff, and you weren't using your insurance, you weren't putting anything towards that. So now you've had this car wreck and you're laid up, and you're going to have to meet your 5,900 all at one time, and then they'll pay the rest.
I see.
Does that make sense? Okay.
I guess in my mind, if everybody would play the same game I play, we'd all have lower premiums. So therefore, that 5,900 would be easier to come up with.
But at
Yeah.
the same time, not everybody is capable
But now I will say that
of doing that. Not saying that we are at all times, but you know what I'm saying?
well, a lot of times you can pay. A lot of times, if you don't disclose insurance and you just pay the cash price, it is a lot cheaper. Much cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell people. So I watched a deal on this. So a pharmacist, if you walk into a pharmacy and you need to get this medicine, you know, there's some high dollar medicines out there, and let's say, you know, he says, well, it's $500 with your insurance. Well, if you would have asked him first, what's my cash price? You know, without insurance, you know, what can I pay you cash and get this? 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a lot cheaper. But he can't disclose the cash price to you once you've already disclosed insurance. To him.
Insurance. Right.
So first of all and foremost, what I tell everybody is just because you have it doesn't mean you have to use it, because there are circumstances where you can get it cheaper. And I'm all for saving money. In this economy, we all have to watch our P's and Q's. And so I'm all about saving money, first and foremost.
Right. As much as possible.
As much as possible. So if I can go in there and I can get it for, you know, $5 versus $500, I'm going to do the $5. You know,
Right.
So it pays off sometimes, I guess. Just
To ask that cash question.
yeah.
Okay. So now we
Sorry, I
have.
didn't mean to skip
No,
ahead
you're
on where you
okay.
wanted to
You're
go.
okay.
Yeah, I kind of done that, but it was fresh in the brain. You
That's
know,
okay.
I was saying I couldn't remember nothing.
Yeah.
But kind of getting back to the Medicaid, we have a question. Would I keep the insurance plan that I have now along with Medicaid? If they got to 65 and they already,
And they're already on Medicaid? Possibly.
well, no, they're not 65 yet, so not on Medicaid, but they have insurance now. Would they be able to keep that insurance with Medicaid?
No. No, when you turn 65, the government puts you on Medicare. You don't get to keep your insurance plan. When you turn 65, everybody goes to Medicare. Now, if you're already on Medicaid with, through the state, then you might possibly be able to keep your Medicaid and get Medicare. That will depend on your income. If you're low enough income and that you can still have that benefit. But, and there are different Medicaid levels that do help, go along with Medicare if you qualify. That you have to qualify for. But yeah, I have a lot of people that are like, I want to keep my insurance. I'm like, sorry, you're going to Medicare. It's just automatic.
So it's automatic, so it's not optional. They could do one or the other.
No, from the sounds of it, when you turn 65,
when
you go to,
you go to Medicare.
period.
Yeah. Now, when you get to Medicare, you have the options. We're going to backtrack a little bit. So whenever I was talking a while ago about you're going to have your Medicare, you got your supplement, and you got your drug plan. Now, you do have one other option. You can scratch all of that, and you can go with what they call an Advantage plan or a Part C. Part C is you forfeit your Medicare, but you still have to pay for it out of your Social Security check. The government's going to get their money no matter what. So what happens is you scratch that, you forfeit your Medicare, you no longer have that. Instead, you went to an insurance company that acts like a private insurance. They're calling all the shots. They can deny claims. They will decline. They can. It does have a built-in drug in it. And it also comes with bells. We call it the bells and whistles. So that's where they offer you dental, vision, and hearing. Medicare does not cover dental, vision, or hearing. Those have all been cut out years ago, trying to save money. But on the Advantage plans, those are usually zero premium. They don't cost you anything, but you pay money as you go. Whereas on this supplement, you paid your flat monthly fee and you don't have any medical bills, everything's covered 100%. Well, over here, you're paying as you go. Zero premium, but you pay to the doctor, you pay your specialist, you got to pay for x-rays, you got to pay on your procedures. So I say you pay now or pay later. That's
Right.
how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So is that kind of going in line? Because we had the question of the difference between Medicaid and Medicare.
Okay, the difference between Medicaid and Medicare is the Medicaid is through your state. That's your state agency, Department of Human Services.
Medicare.
Medicare is the government, federal government.
Medicaid is state, Medicare is government. Okay.
Yes.
I have
Yep.
it backwards.
Yep.
Okay.
Is there another question?
Not yet.
Okay.
So the best plan is don't get to 65.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Well, and here's another thing too. Is
I know that's terrible, isn't it?
I think people's they used to think, okay, I get to 65, I'm old, I'm going to die soon. But really, your Medicare, your career, you could be on it for 25 years.
Absolutely.
Potentially. So the things that you decide when you turn 65, you're deciding on for the rest of your life. Because I will tell you, it does cost you to get the supplement and the drug plan. I mean, you're paying out your Part B premium out of your Social Security check, and you're having to pay for your supplement and then your drug plan. Where over here, you're not paying a premium, but you're paying bills all the time. But I forgot where I was going with that. But the difference in the two is, I'll have people say, well, I can't afford to do this. I have to have the free plan, But yet they're always out of bill where you don't have to have all those bills. I know a gentleman that had knee surgery, shoulder surgery. He had his hip, like all of this stuff. And he just paid out his Medicare deductible of $240. That was it for the year. So you think about that. I'm not very sick at 65, but when I turn 75, I may be, cancer or heart disease,
What was going to be kind of my next question is does it kind of depend on your health? I mean, if
Not when you turn 65, you're guaranteed issue for whatever. But here's what I was saying a while ago. Remember when I said you had to go through underwriting to change Medicare supplement plans? Well, here's what happens on this Advantage plan. So the Advantage plan, the government is really pushing it because they're paying your Part B premium plus a little addition to that insurance company for the premium. So you're not out that. But what they don't tell you is, let's say in 5 years, you know, you get really, really sick and you can't afford to be paying out these bills all the time and you want the meds up, you can't get it. You cannot, because you have to go through underwriting to get off of that Medicare Advantage plan to go to a supplement, and that is nearly impossible even if you are healthy. They ask you, have you been on an Advantage plan? And if you say yes, you know, a lot of times, because those seem to be, for some reason, that seems to be a sicker class of people. I mean, as far as health problems, they seem to have a lot more issues.
The Advantage plan.
On the Advantage plan, and if you're sick, this Medicare supplement will not take you.
And see, I kind of thought of that as being backward. I would have kind of expected healthier people to be on the Advantage side of it, because I don't have that monthly premium and I don't go to the doctor but once a year, and I can,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, you have those people that say, I never go to the doctor. I'm not paying out that premium every month when I don't go to a doctor. But guess what? The minute something bad happens, that's what they want. And
Right,
I'm
that's
like, I can't get it for you now. It's too late.
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
Yeah. And I hate that, but it's just how it is. And I will tell you, Advantage plan, where it comes to long-term care, you really want your Medicare and your supplement versus the Advantage
Well,
plan.
from the sounds of it, absolutely.
If you have to go in long-term care, you're not covered. But over here you are. So then what you have, a lot of people end up doing, if they go in the nursing home or something, they just have to give up the supplement and go back to just straight Medicare. Just to be able to have coverage, to be able to go.
Wow. It's rough.
It is. And this is, you know, when they start cutting the program, you know, they're cutting it all the time. They're making cuts all the time. That's why they're pushing the Advantage plan, is because the government isn't having to pay then. It's this company that's paying. You know, they're just giving them your premium, a little extra, and they're saving money because they're not having to pay your medical bills. So when you hear about all the bells, you know, all these plans, you know, they're giving you all this free stuff all over TV. Are you getting all your free stuff? People are calling me Joe Namath. He's giving away all this free stuff. I'm like, oh, no, it's not free. You're giving up your health care for those bells and whistles,
Yeah.
is what you're doing. You know, they'll offer you a grocery card, or they may offer you over-the-counter benefits. Like I said, they give you dental, vision, and hearing. They make these things sound like they're the best thing in the world, which they're great. They do. They are wonderful. I'm not going to knock them all the way, because I do sell them to people, you know, and I know people on them that have had good luck with them. But in the long run, that you have to be careful when you're on the Advantage plan, because those people are constantly trying to be changed to something else, to another Advantage plan. You know, they're the ones getting the phone call on the phone, and before they hang up, they're on something that they didn't even know they got switched to. And so you have to be very careful with that, because you got to make sure the doctors, those are network programs, a lot of them are.
Got you. So
And so you've got to make sure that those doctors are in network and will take that plan, because I can't tell you how many times people have got switched to things, and then they call and they're like, my doctor won't take this. What do I do? How do I get my other plan back?
got you, but they answered the phone to this smooth talker. And
Yeah, all they do is say hello, and they'll say, Miss Brown, and she'll say, yeah. Well, they can plug that yeah into anywhere they need in that conversation.
Right.
And it'll be somebody in Florida sitting in a call bank. You know, it's not someone like me that's there, you know, that's here.
And that brings up another point. When those telemarketers, when any of those people call you, do not say yes. When they ask for such and such name, ask who's calling.
Yes.
Don't say yes.
Just don't answer. You know, well, and right now,
Well, in our world, we have to.
I know.
But that's where we're getting caught, is because, hey, is this Jesse Johnson?
Yeah.
Well, who's asking? Never say yes.
Never.
That they are teaching us in our
Yeah.
scam classes and all of that, because that yes, you just pulled the trigger.
Yep.
Sorry, that was that really was a sidebar, but
Yeah.
it was kind of fitting, I think.
It is, and it's sad because this is really our most confused group of people. They're aging, the world is changing around them, and a lot of them are already confused by all this Medicare stuff.
Well, I mean, I
You know,
don't think
to
it
have
has
to-
anything to.
To
I
have
mean,
to change their drug plan every year,
Yeah.
about the time they get used to which company they have,
Yep.
it's time for me to change you again. And I swear, every time that I do this, every year, it's not the same. The leading company last year is not the leading company this year for our area. So I have to change you to save you hundreds of dollars, and it's very confusing for them.
well, I'm just gonna say, I mean, I'm not as young as I once was, but I'm still
No.
well over middle aged, and I'm telling you, this whole health insurance thing has all of us confused all the time.
Well,
So that's why
I'll just say to that.
that's why I call and say, hey,
Exactly.
talk to me here.
That's what makes me extremely grateful, because we do have an insurance agent that is, hey yo.
I know who's answering the phone when I call. I know it's
Exactly.
not.
Yeah.
What,
I know it's not. Hello, this
what
is
does
Peggy.
this,
Yeah.
exactly. But it does make me feel bad for the older generation that have to do this on their own and don't know that there's someone like you that is literally right here
Yeah.
that will come to them and say, okay, this is what, because I mean, I just think about like my granny. In my book, she's 83, but she's actually 86 years old. Anyway,
Well, put that out there so she can be real.
she'll be excited that I actually got it right. But if it wasn't for my mom sitting right there beside her listening, Granny would be completely confused, and she would be like, okay, just whatever,
Yeah.
And Mom's like, no, this is not right. We need to ask more questions, whatever. But she does hear David and I talk enough about, don't say yes.
Yeah.
Don't say yes.
Well, and you're right, because I had a lady call me this week. She was with her mother. She thought her mom had this, but actually once we got on the phone and we got down to it, her mom was actually over here on this, and she was, she couldn't believe it. And I'm like, yeah. You ask my husband. Bruce gets he gets so much this time of year, because I'm like, I hate insurance, well, it's trying to deal with all the government regulations and all the government stuff that you got to go through, and I keep up with continuing ed. I have to do that every 2 years. I have to have so many hours every year for each drug or each company. I have to take hours. I have to listen to this same thing over and over, and I take tests on it. And I go through that every single year to do this. And it's the same information every year. It's the same thing. It doesn't change, but I have to go through that. And the only reason that I'm sticking through it is because I tell myself, people need a Misty in their life. They need me to help them navigate through this. And the clients that I have, they're not my clients. They're my family.
Right.
These people, we have worked together for so long, and they're my family. I mean, I meet them for lunch. I go see them. I try to stay in touch with as many of them as I can, because I don't want to lose them to someone else over a phone call.
Right. Well, and you make it personal, not
Yes.
only because you're representing them, but you're down in the nitty gritty with them, trying to, we're in the swamp and we're all trying to figure our way out.
Yep.
Well, you're kind of a life raft for some, and that's the thing that I appreciate, is because we do have someone local, someone we know, that we can just pick up the phone and say, hey, yo,
Yeah.
what does this mean? Or what did David just do?
That's like when I've done the county appraising stuff. I mean, there were so many people that thought we were just some company out of California that was just, and I'm like, no, I live right over here on Dunn Road.
Yeah.
Very fair.
Well, and I used to have the office at Fairfield Bay, I've actually had two offices, two different agents there, and now I work from home. You know, when COVID hit, all the major companies closed. They closed up their offices, they sent everyone home, and so we did the same thing. And now I'm still at home. You know, I'm not big enough to pay for an office yet or be in an office yet. Maybe that's a goal to get there.
Yeah.
But you know, right now I'm doing everything I can out of a spare bedroom, and it's great. I mean, I'm just working day and night. You know, I've been talking to people at 6 a.m. I'm talking to them at 11 o'clock at night. It's just, Bruce will be like, "Are you insurance?" And I'm like, "Yep.
Yeah.
Can't get through a movie. You know, we're
Welcome to the real estate world.
yeah.
If I'm awake, I'm probably working.
But
Yep.
but I have a small window. I mean, like I said, Medicare right now is October 15th to December 7th. So we're and believe me, that goes really fast trying to get through all of this.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
that's 1 week.
Tomorrow is open enrollment for the under 65 world, the Obamacare, affordable health care world. And so not only am I still trying to get my Medicare clients taken care of, then tomorrow I start with the under 65. So, yeah.
I'm guessing that's a whole nother ball game.
That's a whole other ball game. So we'll get to talk about that. So do we have any questions about Medicare before we move on?
I don't think so. The last one that we had was the difference between the two.
So now I'll dive into the affordable health care, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it. So ACA. So that starts tomorrow. It is based off of household size and income, your taxable income, whatever you're claiming on taxes, that's what they look at. Because the federal government will pay a subsidy. What that is they take a portion of the premium. Let's say the premium's $1,400 for your family. Based off of your household size and income, the government would pay a portion of that if you qualify. So then next year, so tomorrow we're doing your estimation. So we're going on what you think that your 2025 income will be. And that's what I'll do my quotes off of. So then in 2026, when you file taxes for 2025, the very first thing when you file taxes is the federal government says, "How much money did you make?" They look at your taxes.
Are we going to get reimbursed for what we overpay?
So yes, you can. So let's say that you claim I'm going to make $30,000 next year. Let's say I really make $60,000. The government will say, "Well, you made a lot more money than you reported. We should not have paid as much on that premium. Now you owe us money back." And trust me, they get their money off the top because the government's always going to get their money first.
And their estimates is off gross, not what you think you're going to net.
Yes, it's the gross income. So then, but it also works the other way. If I said I was going to make $60,000, but I only made 30, they would have said, "Well, you didn't make as much as you reported. We should have paid more. Here's a refund for some of that." So when you call me you need an estimate. What first thing and foremost is I have to know how many is in your household and what is your taxable income and your zip code. That's the only three things I need to know. Well, and the ages, I need to know their ages. And then all of that is calculated in and it comes back and it will give me the plans for you. You know, there'll be a bazillion plans. And then I'm the one that gets to wade through all of those and try to figure out, you know, the better plans to pitch to you. Because I'll usually give you a really high deductible. Because deductible is about $9,100. Then the middle ground is about $5,900. This has been in the past. Now I don't know what tomorrow's is. I haven't seen it yet.
Right.
And then for those that had a low enough income, I did see some $700 deductibles last year. Now everyone's number one question is, what's a deductible? So a deductible is the amount of money that you have to pay out of pocket before your insurance company kicks in. So that can be very pricey. You know, if you have a $9,000 deductible to meet and you're paying out $200 or $300 a month in premium, that's when you might want to say, "What's my cash price?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, but if you have a low enough deductible, you know, like a $700 deductible, well, why not use it? You know,
But typically with your lower deductible, you're gonna have a
pretty low premium.
pretty heftier premium, right? If your
No.
deductible's low,
No, because that's calculated into your income. Like if let's say that you're a household of 3 and you're just barely meeting that, you just barely went over that threshold of meeting their guideline, then they'll give you a low deductible with a low premium.
Okay, hang on. What's the difference between a deductible and a premium?
Okay, so the premium is your monthly amount that you pay for that plan.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
So
that
you
was a
pay
long
out your
question.
premium, and that's what it costs you a month to carry that plan, to have that plan.
Gotcha.
That's what your premium is. Your deductible is the amount you have to meet before the plan kicks in, and then again, you have your maximum out of pocket where everything you've been paying goes towards that, and if you meet that, then you cap out, and they pay 100% after that.
but it's kind of interesting. I always thought that the higher your deductible, the better your premium was as far as the monthly price. That
Not anymore.
not anymore, but
No.
has that kind of been the
I think that's the way it was maybe back, like you used to could pay more for a lower deductible back, in the old days and the old plans, but those are all gone. You can't get those now. If you have one of those old plans, do not let it go because you will never be able to get it back. Yeah. Because and right now, like, and a lot of people, here's another thing I should bring up. So group insurance, I have people that's been calling me, my husband's offered insurance. We're offered insurance through his work. Well, this program says that if you are offered employer coverage, you do not qualify for that subsidy. You have to pay full price. So I have people calling me saying, yeah, but it's going to cost us so much money for our family. Well, I understand that, but this is the way it is. If you go with me, it's full price. I can't get you that discount. So if you call me and you disclose to me that you have employer coverage, legally, I can't give you that discount. Or we can't figure
If
it
it's
that way.
offered,
Yes, if it's offered. Now, let's say it's mid-year and your company, he would be offered it, but it's not that company's open enrollment right now. It's like mid-year and he can't, it's a new hire, but they can't get on to win over. Then we can do it. And
With
they would
the
qualify.
discount.
Yeah, then they would qualify with that subsidy at that time. But in my prediction, I probably shouldn't say this on there, but I'm going to, there's been programs that they're coming out with, stuff like called ICRA and things, My prediction is that I think that group will go away one of these days, and I think it will all be affordable health care just because the group insurance has their plans are the same as the affordable health care. They still have the high deductibles, their premiums are pretty high. They're not, it's not as low as they used to be. If you had group insurance, you really were doing good, but now group insurance is not as good as it used to be for a lot of companies. And I think that it's going to go away just so that the federal government will have their hand in those people's cookie jar too one day. And I probably shouldn't say that online to the world, but
I think most people see the writing on the wall.
probably, yeah.
well, there
Because that's the
again,
group of people, they're right now, they're not checking theirs, they're not in that, but I think it's coming. I really do, with all the changes that I've seen.
That's sad.
Yeah. So,
What do you do? Do you have a question? I thought you had something.
See, I was worried about someone asking a question I didn't know the answer to, and now nobody's asking any.
Yeah, well, because I think it's one of those subjects that I mean,
it's an overload.
yeah,
It is. It's a lot. That's why I wanted to try to break it down into 2 parts and try to help people. Because I can't get into specifics. I can't talk about policies. I can't talk about premiums, and I can't talk about companies. And to let people know, I do represent. I don't work for one company. I work for you, number one. Whatever your needs are, that's what I meet first. But I do have several companies that I work with, so I have lots of options.
Well, and I think that's one of the biggest messages that I would like to get out there is the fact that don't think it's somebody that you have to call, that's hours and hours and hours away.
Yeah.
We have someone local right here that you can call and say, hey, meet me for lunch. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Or, whatever. I think
And I
that's
hang
kind of
out
what we did.
most of the time I'm at your house, nobody comes to my house, honestly. They don't want to come to my house, but I'll come to your house, we'll sit down and we'll talk about it. We'll
Yeah.
go over what you need, and I will not put you with a company that is not going to suffice, We do have an open enrollment period backing up to Medicare from January through March for those Advantage plans, those Part Cs that I talked about. And that's because during this time of the year, people get put on things that they can't use. Come the first of the year, they can't go to the doctor because their doctor don't take it. The pharmacy don't accept it. So they opened up that enrollment period from January to March to fix that for people. But so you can keep that in mind, if you did get put on something, you do have one more chance to get it fixed
Before it's stuck.
before you're stuck for the whole year no having coverage. Because I have had people that get stuck and they went all year and never could use their insurance.
So
Yeah.
if there's anybody out there that knows somebody, or if you're listening right now,
Yeah.
if you have questions, if you're unsure of what you have, it never hurts to call a friend.
Yeah. If your mom and dad, you're worried
phone a
about,
friend.
yeah, phone a friend. If you're worried about what mom's got or dad's got, call me. I'll try to help you figure it out and figure out what, if they need to do anything or not, because at this point there is a lot of parents that, kids are getting involved. They're having to help them with that stuff. And it's very confusing.
And
I mean,
it will
and
suck when it comes my turn to have to do that, because
I mean, like myself, I was fortunate for, before I got here, the company I worked for, they had a group plan, and I was able to just buy into that, and
Yeah.
we were good. And then when that went away, okay, I had to phone a friend, was HR. Hey, tell me what I need,
Yeah.
but I lost that. So yeah, I'm calling you.
Call me.
I'm just letting you know.
Call me. Well, and in this business, referral. I could spend bukus of money in advertising and it does zero good. In this business, in this health insurance business, referral is where it comes from, word of mouth.
Yep.
And so please, 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 if you're a client and you love me, refer me. If not, if you just know me and somebody needs help, just have them call me. And one thing about it is you won't get spammed by me. You're not going to get a bunch of spam email coming from me. You're just going to get whatever I tell you.
Yep. And we can vouch for that.
Yeah. If I do sign you up with a company, if I don't have to put an email in, I don't, because I know what's coming. Now some of them are getting to where they're requiring it more, and there is people that don't have an email. I get that, and then I'll just put in whatever to get past it. So, but yes, please call somebody, call locally if you can, because at least I'm somebody you can sit down with and figure out the truth.
Yeah,
I'm not in a call bank. I'm in the same place every day.
And not only that, if you feel like she jacked you up, you're going to see her in town, I promise.
Yeah, you can tell me about it.
Corner her up.
Call. Yeah.
And there again, that's the beauty of being local and trying to work with the members within the community that you are in and from and know.
I have doctor's offices that refer me to clients. There's chiropractors that refer me to clients. There's other business owners here that refer me to people. When they can't help them, they refer them to me. And I love that. But I'm doing the same thing. If someone is asking me, hey, do you know about, call so-and-so. They can help you.
Exactly.
Or, and it's a networking. We have to network.
Exactly.
If we're not networking, what's the point?
Yep.
Well, and that's one of the cool things about here, and we kind of touch on this every episode, it seems like. Small town.
Yep.
Everybody knows pretty much everybody. It helps keep us all accountable.
Yeah, true.
I'm going to see you at the restaurant. I'm going to see you at the dollar store. I'm going to see you somewhere. So
Somewhere, yeah.
if I kind of swindled you a little bit,
I'm gonna hear about
you're
it.
going to know it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so let's just stay above board and move on with life.
Well, and that just, to me, in my little pea brain, that's what keeps a community going.
It is.
we all have to support each other.
Right.
I may not like you, but if you do good business,
You do
I'm
good business.
still gonna refer you.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, yeah.
And honestly, I mean,
I'm the same way. Like I grew up small town. I've always been small town. I mean, even our big vacation we just took, I said, just keep me away from the major cities. Like, this is what I want to do, but this is what I don't want to do. And Bruce was like, I got it, you know. And everybody was so worried because of all the people. And I'm like, I did fine, but I just don't like the city life, the big life. And
Yeah.
going to Heber stresses me out these days.
me too. I hate
Y'all hilarious.
do. I said I would rather be shot than have to go to Heber.
Listen,
And it's just the traffic.
It
You
is.
can't get in. There's nowhere to
Yeah,
park. There's,
I agree.
It's a hassle.
After living here this long, I mean, and I used to drive over there and work over there every day. And
Well-
now that I've been over here, I'm like,
Yeah.
I could so be a hermit.
I mean, I went to Nashville in June. June? Yeah. And panicked when we were coming into Nashville, and I was like, oh my, there's like 4 lanes on each side. What
Yeah. Oh, Bruce has to do the driving. Like, if we get into town somewhere, the big roads, yep, you're driving.
Well,
I just think they should legalize pit maneuvering for all citizens.
okay. But there again, your insurance would be unaffordable.
I want that covered under Obamacare.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. They're not going to cover
Yeah.
anything. Nope.
No.
But no, on a fun note, you brought up your trip, and I can't help but think there's probably some things that were at least interesting on that.
Yeah. You have to give us a funny story.
So we went through 12 states in 17 days.
Jesus.
Our second day on the road, we were running from Helene. And when you travel with Bruce, you do not travel on roads. You travel on dirt roads, back roads, no roads. We were over trees, around trees, through trees, over
Y'all
water
even
bridges.
camped in your car.
Yeah, they
We
were
did.
sleeping in
We
the car.
did. So
I remember those.
So I have a tent that goes on the back of my SUV, and we just hooked it up there. We stayed in state parks. We stayed in national forest. Part of the time we did get a motel. One time we just stayed in a parking lot by the interstate. It was full of state equipment. We just backed in beside it, and we didn't pitch the tent that night. We just slept in the back of the car, but it was the best trip. We went to Maine. Had lobster, went to Salem, Massachusetts. That was interesting for October. Don't go on a Tuesday though. Most everything's closed in Salem on Tuesday.
Oh, huh.
Let's see, we went moose chasing through New Hampshire and Vermont, upstate. We were all the way at the Canadian border. Never seen a moose.
Just like us living here. I've yet to see a bear on the paw.
Oh, boo-hoo.
She's seen 2.
We seen a bear in Virginia. We was driving down through, Bruce goes, there's a bear. And he whipped off the road and turned around, and sure enough, it was coming across this field up at us. I got pictures of it. We did camp one night with a beaver. He was fun. I never got pictures of him, but we did get to see him. And
So, like, did he curl up in the corner of
Oh,
the,
no,
of the
he's out
car
there
tent?
banging on the water, letting us know he was
He
there.
was
and
there.
if you've ever heard that,
Uh-huh.
it sounds like a shotgun.
Yes,
going
it does.
off.
Yeah.
Like we first got there and it happened, and I was like, hit the deck. Like, who's shooting at us?
We
'Cause
grew up
were
in
the
rice
middle of
country.
Nowhere when
Yeah.
that happened. Yeah. So, but yeah, we had a great trip.
So we always ask our guests to give us a funny story. It can be goofy, weird, just something that every time you think about, you laugh. Of course, it has to involve you, but
Well, I was saying, well, it can't be insurance because there's nothing funny and happy about
Yeah, there's not.
insurance. I can't make that happy or funny no matter what I say about it. It's the dreaded subject. I don't really know.
that's
The only thing, probably the happy story right now is my motorcycle. Like, I mean,
which is so funny.
Yeah.
And I only say that
Yeah.
because the day that I'm walking out of Boar House and you yell at me and I come over and then I text you and say, hey, run by the office. And you pull up on that motorcycle and I was like, just pulled up. And David was like, that's Misty. And I was like, shut up.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yep.
Yes.
Bruce wanted to get dirt bikes, and I said, I don't want a dirt bike. I want one of these. So I ended up with one of those.
There you go.
Got a dirt bike. Yep.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
What was you going to say?
Seems fun. No, I didn't. Coming down the highway the other day, and it was raining a little bit, and she's camped out at the car wash.
Yep.
Just waiting on it to quit.
The sun shining, it was hot, it was beautiful. I'm like, I just got to run to Federal Bay. I was meeting with a client over insurance. After 5, I get to town and it was raining. And the more I got in town, the harder it got. And looking back to Federal Bay, I was like, there is no way. I went to the car wash.
So have y'all seen the movie What Hog in the White House? Mm-hmm. That's what it kind of reminded me of. She's all cool, and then all of a sudden it started raining. Now she's sitting there huddled.
Not so cool after all.
That's one of David's favorite movies.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But if there's somebody out there that's just tuning in and hadn't figured it out, she deals with insurance. So
Health insurance.
health insurance, that's an important part.
Yeah, get that part.
I do
correct.
not have a license for,
Any other insurance but
Automotive,
health.
home,
I don't do that.
life.
I have a license for life, but I haven't really dipped into that.
I thought you told me that because I had
Yeah.
asked you about that.
Yeah. I'm hoping maybe, after just transitioning to my own, and I'm still trying to get everything on top of all that.
Mhm.
So maybe by the end of maybe next year, I can.
Let her
Start
get
looking at it.
her
That's fair.
footing
Yeah.
back in.
Because in all honesty, the agencies I worked for, the first agency, someone else did all of the life insurance, and so I wasn't exposed to that, even though I'm licensed for it. I didn't mess with that at that time. And then the other agency didn't sell it, and so it's going to be something I'm going to have to venture out and get familiar with and comfortable before I start trying to quote it and sell it.
Completely understand.
Yeah.
And I do want to thank Steve Timms for being this week's sponsor. Appreciate you, my friend.
Thanks, Steve.
You still get talked about way more than you probably
I literally
would
think
like
it's
to know
Yep.
that you
talked
do.
about every single episode.
You're kind of like the hero of this show.
Yep.
So,
He was the
but we
guinea
do
pig
thank
that
you, my friend.
stuck around.
He's got to come back to
Yes.
the show.
He seems to tune in and at least make one comment on every
Well,
episode.
he made
And-
gave us 2 questions tonight.
So we really
Anyway.
appreciate that. And
Thanks, Steve.
so yeah, just to kind of recap, anything to do with health insurance, she can talk to you. Give her a shout.
And if you can't read her number on the screen,
Yep.
just send David or I a text message and we can share her contact with you. Don't be scared to ask questions because, clearly we're all idiots when it comes
To insurance, we need somebody with some
No
answers.
question's a dumb question. That's what
Yeah.
I was told back in years ago in college. No question's a dumb question.
And that is a true statement to this day. I say it all the time because, to us they seem dumb, but it could be an actually good question to somebody else.
Yeah.
So
But we do appreciate everybody tuning in. And if
thank
you've got
you for
anything,
You're
coming
Yay.
on Halloween.
Yeah.
that's
Spooky,
right.
the
Happy
spooky,
Halloween.
a scary topic of health insurance. It's like,
That's fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good topic for Halloween.
yep.
We did get asked today because we typically pass out candy every year. And, Halloween kind of fell on a Thursday, and they were like, are y'all passing out? You don't even have to say that y'all are passing out. We know y'all pass out candy every year. And I was like, yeah, we're not passing out candy this year. I can't be in 2 places at one time.
I know.
And I'm not
Well,
going
we don't ever pass out candy. And then we were in town earlier, Bruce ran by Dollar General and got candy. So he's sitting at home with candy, and I don't know if he's had any trick or treaters. I'm like, nobody ever comes to
Well,
the
he
house.
could have came up here and passed out candy.
There you go.
While we were doing the show. Dang it, Bruce.
Yep, see?
Doggone it.
All right.
Well,
But thank you.
well, thank
Yes.
you for letting me come and talk about it.
Yes, thank you. And so the last question of the night, obviously we ask every guest, would you come back and do it again?
Yes.
There you go, folks.
Yep.
There we go. We'll hopefully it'll be a while before we have to start recycling guests. But-
Well, it'll be till after the first of the year.
Yeah. So
That's a good thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
not a bad thing at all.
Yep.
So appreciate it, everybody. Y'all have a good night and have a happy rest of your Halloween.